Philadelphia Grotto History and Highlights. It was founded in 1947. Philadelphia Grotto met continuously at the Academy of Natural Sciences, except for a brief period at LaSalle College, 1520 Race Street, between 58 and 60. Ernest Smeltzer, for his efforts in mapping and locating 46 caves, Philadelphia Grotto made him an honorary member May 5, 1949. During 1950 and 51, Philadelphia Grotto conducted hydraulic studies and atmospheric studies in Schoeffer's Cave. A report was published in Bulletin 14. Also of note, Brother Nicholas, who was a Philadelphia Grotto member in 1961, was also president of the NSS in 59. Doug Medville moved from Philadelphia to New York in 64. In 1964, the NSS president, Greg Moore, came to Philadelphia in November of that year. He gave a special talk on speleothems. To raise some much-needed money, the Grottos sold copies of the book, Speleology, that Moore co-authored with Brother Nick. During 1966, Grotto members founded 32 new caves in West Virginia. Between December 1965 and September 1966, members of the Grotto found 23 new caves in Clover Lick Valley, Pocahontas County, West Virginia. Thanks in large part to Doug's leadership, the Grotto found 180 new caves in West Virginia between September of 1964 and November of 1969. In 1970, the NSS held a convention in Watauga State Park in West Virginia, and partly in State College, Pennsylvania. It was chaired by Doug Medville and sponsored by the Mid-Appalachian region. Philadelphia Grotto was heavily involved in organizing and running field trips. In 1983, the mapping of Plum Creek Cave concluded with a map published in the Grotto Digest. In spring of '86, Drubbab's Cave map was published in the Digest, along with descriptions written by Bernie Smeltzer. A map of Burlott Cave was published in November of '86. In 1988, River Road Cave and Morgan Cave maps were published in Berks County Cave Survey. Penny Cave in Tennessee, the survey began in 1989 and concluded with a published map and project report by Dottie Eckert in NSS News 1992. Philly Grotto members, led by Mike Mastardi, also contributed to the completion of MAR Bulletin 18, Caves of Berks County in 1992. Philadelphia Grotto started Sinking Creek Valley Cave Survey in 1993. It was well underway in '94 with assistance from Tom Lovejoy, who was later granted honorary membership, and continued until 1996. Philadelphia Grotto celebrated its 50th anniversary in 1997 by hosting the Fall MAR field meet at Woodward Cave. Joe Durant, Philly Grotto chairman from '88 and '90, edited the Philadelphia History, 50 Years Underground, 1947 to 1997. In 1999 and 2000, Philadelphia Grotto members explored caves in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Tennessee, and New Mexico. Also in 2000, Mike Fernandez discovered 2 caves in Carbon County, Pennsylvania, which were unknown. In January 2002, McAllister Cave survey beyond the Wendler extension was begun by Landon Woodward and other members of Philadelphia Grotto. Surveying continued from January 2003, January 2004, concluded in July 2004. Landon drafted the map in November 2004, and it was published in January 2006. Philly Grotto News. Map showed 389 feet of horizontal extent. The fall 2002 MAR was co-sponsored by Philly and Commander Cody Cave Club at the Lazy A campground in Berkeley County, West Virginia. Also in 2002, Mike Fernandez released a second Carbon County survey report describing 5 new caves discovered. Philly Grotto explored and surveyed White County, Tennessee in November 2002. Hernison produced a map of Little Pit number 1, which was in the Grotto newsletter. In November 2004, Corker Hill Cave survey was begun by Amos Minson, Philly Grotto Chair, 2007-2009, with assistance from Landon Woodward and other Philly Grotto members. Survey continued until June 2005. Over 665 feet of passage was surveyed. A preliminary map was drawn. In August 2005, a map of Arch Pit, located in Montana, was surveyed by Philly Grotto and was published in the January 2006 newsletter. In 2007, Jack Vose, longtime Philly Grotto board member, helped survey 523 feet of freefall cave in Hawaii. Over 1,700 feet of passage had been mapped at that time. In the fall of 2009, Philly Grotto News, Andy Field, chairman in 2011, reported on a trip to England where he was caving in Easy Gill Caverns. Andy also planned and carried out the 2013 Grotto trip to Romania. In the winter of 2009, Philly Grotto Chairman Minson announced, "We must stay out of caves closed because of white nose syndrome, and only return once it is determined safe to do so." Philly Grotto didn't cave for over a year. Jack Vose reported in December 2010 visit in Hawaii that he explored several sea caves and lava tubes. In the winter of 2011, Philly Grotto News, Tony Kaneki, former member of the Philly board, reported January 8, 2011, a bolt climb in Butler Cave, Virgin Passage, that was discovered in November of 2010 and was known as the Evasor Gallery Survey. In the summer of 2012, Philly Grotto News, Amos Minson reported on a trip organized by Steve Warnick, longtime Philly Grotto member, March 12th Ridge Walk, caving, P Caves in Williamson, Pennsylvania. 5 caves were found and explored, 2 of which were unknown. In the winter of 2012, Philly Grotto News, Warnick reported on the Sinkhole Symposium he had attended. Presentations were given by various members of the American Society of Highway Engineers. Steve learned of voids, cave passages, along Pennsylvania State Route 422. He also found out how sometimes the remediation involved drilling holes and filling the holes with concrete, producing columns in the area where the caves would have been. Other times, large voids of concrete would simply be filled. Large voids would be filled with concrete, rather. On 422 project, over 3,000 cubic yards of concrete was poured in a 5-mile stretch of highway. On December 29, 2013, Alan Maddox organized a youth trip to P Caves in Williamson, PA. It was attended by about a dozen people, and Steve Warnick, Andy Field, and Amos Minson were present. Buchanan, Woodchuck, Python, persistent caves were explored. P Caves are no longer